Hi everyone, this is Elizabeth at craftsbyhappystepper.com. Thanks for joining me today. This video is part of the One Stamp at a Time blog hop. If you click on the link to my blog below, you can jump to the other cards. For this blog hop, I made both this card and this box, and there are two separate videos on the how-to. So first we're going to make this card, and then the second video will show you how to make this gift box. So I'm making a set of these thank you cards to give to a friend of mine, and I'll give them to her in this pretty box. And part of this blog hop is that everything must be monochromatic. And I was given the color green. So I chose wild wasabi and pistachio pudding, which is retiring in just a couple weeks. So if you want it, you better buy it fast. I'm also using two stamp sets that are also retiring. This So Very Happy stamp set, I'm using the thanks from it as well as the flower on the inside. And then this is one of my favorite sets, and I'm so sad to see it go. It's Daydream Medallions. It's a two-piece set, and we'll be using this on the card today. So, this card video is going to be incredibly fast because I did most of the work already off camera because it's just hard to show you how to do some of it on camera. But it's a pretty simplistic card anyways. So first I'm going to take my inside piece, and on the inside it says thanks on the outside, and on the inside I like to leave a lot of space, but I like to decorate just a little. So I'm just going to put a flower stamp in the lower right hand corner. So this is from the retiring So Very Happy stamp set, and I have it here. And my card base is in wild wasabi, but I wanted to do pistachio pudding to go with the monochromatic theme for this card. So a couple taps, and because I'm going off the paper, I've got my silicone craft mat here. It doesn't really matter the orientation. I think that's great. So my inside is done. I can just set that to the side for now, and I'll clean that stamp in a second. You might see me brush off cat hairs. One of my kitties, Sirius, he thinks that his favorite place to be when I'm crafting is on the table in front of me, so I'm constantly kicking him off. But I try really hard not to get him hairs on any of my crafting projects. So we have this wild wasabi background card base, and I'm going to mat my DSP with a white border. So this is just from the background designer series paper stack, which is actually also retiring this year, or in a couple weeks. They're coming out with a new background set with new designs, and I am just noticing that my paper is a little too big. So I thought I had it cut and ready for you, but that's how it goes, right? Sometimes you don't have everything quite right. So I want this to be 4 by 5 1/4, and it is just a tad bit too long. So cut that off with my trimmer. Get that out of the way. And this white piece should be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I was like, what is that measurement? Okay, so it's good. When I'm doing these little layers, it's easiest for me to glue things down rather than tape it, because it gives me a little bit of time to wiggle the paper and get it lined up correctly. I see so many videos where people just put tape and slap it down and it's lined up perfectly. I don't know how they do that. Maybe they are just far more experienced than I am. But I can't really imagine myself ever being that good. So there we go. First layer's down, and now my second layer. Now I can put this down. And that gives me a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around on all the sides, which I like. I like the small borders best. I do that most often, but every once in a while I do a 1/4 inch border. But so we have the base done. Now, what I did was I stamped using the second largest, or the largest stamp set here, the stamp in the Daydream Medallions. And for this one, I did it in wild wasabi, but for my example, I did it in pistachio pudding. And then I used the matching floral framelits to cut it out. And this is not retiring, even though the stamp set is, so you can still get the floral framelits pretty easily. I did the next one in Versamark, and then I heat embossed using the Whisper White embossing powder from Stampin' Up. And then I did the next one using the same coordinating color that I used for the large ones. So in this case it's wild wasabi, but in this case it was pistachio pudding. Now, something I did for my example was I forgot to stamp the sentiment before I put it all together. So I'm not going to forget to do that this time while I show you. But before I do that, I want to take some pistachio pudding ink and just brush it along all the edges. That way the white doesn't seem so blindingly bright. If you want, you can also do this to the Designer Series paper background piece, which I did for the example I showed you at the beginning, but it doesn't really show up. It just kind of mutes it a little around the edges, so it doesn't look quite so startlingly bright. And I'm doing it to all of the pieces. You don't actually need very much ink on the sponge in order to do this. As you can see, I'm not re-inking it very much. Finally, the last piece. Whoop. All right, and that's it for that. Now, I'm going to ink up my thanks, and I'm just alternating colors here. So as you can see in the example, I had this example. This is pistachio pudding, and that's wild wasabi. I'm going to do the reverse on this one. But this stamp set actually says, "Oh, thanks," and I just want it to say thanks. So I'm using a piece of Post-it tape to mask off the O. You could just use a marker in this color and ink up the thanks, but I don't have my markers out right now, so this is what I'm doing. Looks perfect. Now, I often mask and then forget to take the mask off, so don't forget to do that. And the good thing about this is that you really don't have to worry about making it straight, because you can just orient it whatever way you want to make it exactly straight for you. So, next we just put it together. We are almost done. So I decided to just put this directly on the DSP. Actually, first I wanted to give it a little dimension. So I'm just using my bone folder to curl those down. And this I want to do it the opposite way. I want them to, same here. I'm not doing a lot of curling, just a little bit of dimension. Alright, that's it. And now I would like to use some dimensionals. Whoops. Throwing my things around. So I have some dimensionals. I'll probably put 3 on the back of this. I know some people are really stingy with these, but I like to make sure everything's nice and secure, so I may go overboard. we go. And then I will do the same thing for this one with 3 dimensionals. And this is where you can make sure that your sentiment is straight. There you go. Perfect. Just press it down. Now I like to make sure my fold is perfect before I glue in my insert. Alright, and that's it. And that's it. It's a very simple card. Nice monochromatic colors. I think this green could be used for a male or a female, and everybody needs thank you cards, right? So I hope you enjoyed this. Please check out my other video on how to make the coordinating card box, and click on the link below to follow the hop, and please subscribe if you haven't.